Good morning, Internet, and welcome to another episode from the Titancraft server. And it's about time that I finally get around to having slightly less shameful armor. And the fact that it just happens to go with my Halloween skin in purple is absolutely the reason I'm doing this, and it was mighty disconcerting when that didn't work initially. And I had been considering netheriting my sword, but to be honest, it doesn't really need it. I don't lose my gear to lava because I don't die, and it's not like I need durability on a mending sword, because it basically gets back all of the XP from kills. So instead, I'm about to take one of the above hoes with stupid amounts of unbreaking and make it even harder to break. Oh, and earn an achievement. Now, do I have enough levels to slap mending on it? Though the actual thing I'm going to slap on it is Silk Touch, so that I have what is effectively infinite shears. And let's put my armor back on. Ooh, lovely color coordination. Even if it is hiding the spooky disappearing feet. And everyone in the comments is chatting about how this is a weird flex, but okay, and to be fair, I suppose it kind of is. However, I also have enough diamonds to be able to afford to just buy this much, Adding Silk Touch on that, though, can wait till later, because I'm not currently about to be doing a bunch of stuff with leaves, and I have some projects to do. Look at me still talking when there's building to do. Yeah. And look at me risking the wrath of Portal by singing their music. Nobody saw that. You can't prove it. It never happened. And most of the rest of my cave is going to be a lot more detailed. However, I'm less worried about the section directly under where the dragon's going to be, because it's also going to be sitting on a hoard of gold, and so these blocks are not actually going to be visible from anywhere, probably in the final build. So the actual weird flex in today's episode is me detailing intricately a section of the cave that no one will ever get to see, as one does. Ask away your strange questions, Jam. Ah, the person who is doing it just to get an achievement. Valid. And I suppose this is around the point where I should answer in chat why it is I feel like it's useful. Except I'm not 100% certain that it's true and would like to actually test it. I'm rich enough that I can afford the flex of making a netherite hoe that does nothing. I am not quite as comfortable leading other people to make that same mistake with me. Because at least when I'm doing it to myself, I can claim it's for science. Well, I went and checked my notes. And guess what? This platform needs to be about 45 blocks deep. I'm currently about 10, which is honestly further than I thought I was going to be honest. So let's just mark off that 10 area, and then keep digging backwards into the hill. I'm now back with my chests of supplies, ready to begin work on the dragon. I'm aware that my dinky little cave is not going to be enough to fit a dragon statue in here, but I also figure it's going to be easier to carve out however much of the ceiling needs to go as I'm working on it, because that should make the dimensions a lot easier. Well, other than me forgetting to bring material for my dragon's claws, I believe I have the information I need to start working. And I don't need all of my gold blocks, just enough to be the underlayer of each of the paws. And I intend to play some very careful games with the oxidation levels involved on this. However, the surest way to get it to oxidize is to leave it like that. And I have nowhere near enough of the already oxidized version to carry the build. I promise that the platform of gold that this dragon is sitting on is not just going to be a single flat layer of gold through the entire cave. That would be boring, and we don't do boring builds here. However, the area directly under, like, one of the dragon's paws ought to be gold. It's more going to be that the gold's going to wrap up to be like comfortable pillows underneath the dragon. Because when you are a dragon, everything starts to look like a comfortable pillow you could be resting on. I think that got away from me somewhere. And I don't have an obvious block to shove under where the paw is going to be on this side. However, my first step is going to be taking advantage. Nice, neat property. These things. And carving my cave an awful lot wider to deal with proper dragon width. Because how am I supposed to fit a dragon in here with these current dimensions? Intolerable. I cannot work under these conditions. And there is a central ridge center line that I can put dripstone on. Good. The version of my build test world, while it is very good, has at least a few flaws, and one of those is that I did it in even symmetry rather than odd symmetry, and as anyone who's done enough Minecraft building knows, you never build things in even symmetry. It's a pain. Do not. Just don't. Don't do that to yourself. Now, I'm intending that the final result is going to have copper gradients, but that involves leaving the copper out to weather long enough to get that. And I'm aware that this is an incredibly inefficient means of weathering copper. However, it's more efficient than stacking it in my chests and never doing anything with it again. To cut costs on materials, I am unfortunately making my dragon statue hollow. And I figure, given that I have a lot of it, cobblestone gets to be my, you're not going to see this block anyway, scaffolding. And in conclusion, I have nowhere near enough raw gold for this, which is great. It means I still have far more things to collect and more things to toss my fabulous riches of diamonds on. Because I am a generous shop owner who gives back to her community. Right now, what it is a sign that this roof needs to go. Just wait for the gravel to come falling on down and raining upon me. I see you lurking there, gravel. Can't fool me. I think I'm going to proceed under the presumption that I'm just going to let all of this oxidize and then come back later and figure out which pieces need to be stripped and strip back layers of oxidation and then wax it into the correct levels. There we go. I knew that gravel couldn't be trusted. Also, apparently this is a slime chunk, as evidenced by the fact that a slime spawned somewhere around there, bounced over, and baby slimes are now lurking in the bottom of my ravine. As one does. Darn, gravel is not supposed to be in my statue. Untrustworthy things. And all cave layout in here is not final. That said, there are still certain formations that just occur naturally when I start trying to carve a cave like this. And then there are the ones that emergent formations like that one that are utterly terrible because I don't want them. And that scaffolding right there is a trap. So, taking a slight break from building my dragon statue because I ran out of copper, minor details, I was testing out my budget brand shears, and in conclusion, they are budget brand. It works on leaf blocks, it doesn't work on a lot of the other things you could use shears for. However, it still allows me to mass move leaf blocks with a tool that mends. Which is, I suppose, worth it? So, it turns out I am about 2 blocks short on vertical clearance. Which means that I get to take out the entirety of my statue so far and rebuild it on a platform a little bit lower down. Goodbye, build. Also, pro tip, do not copy me and instead actually measure out how much space your build is going to need before you start putting it in. Eyeballing it doesn't work. I will say though, copper makes satisfying clinking noise. Okay, so this technically fits, which is the best kind of fitting, but at the same time, that is going to be an absolute pain to try to terraform without raising the road. Which I suppose I can do. I have that power. And at this point, I am not moving the dragon statue again. I'm sorry. The dragon has earned its space here. And this doesn't look all that big when you're looking at any given piece of it, right up until you're standing down here looking up and realizing just how much clearance there is underneath So I will come back with the next update where the dragon looks much more complete. The color gradient update is going to be a bit later after I wait for most of this copper to oxidize so that I can then sand it on back down to the correct level of oxidation. And exactly none of the gradient on this is done yet, except for a few of the front paws, and I still love it. It's amazing. It's not finished. As you can see, the hind leg needs to be connected, and this needs to be carved out so that there can be room for a tail. Because what's the point of being a dragon if you can't carve a little stone out of the way to make room? And it's just painful that some of the angles for this you'll never really be able to see the statue from. But from the angles you do get to see. Ooh, it looks amazing, like from this angle. And to be honest, it also... Nobody saw that. Looks amazing from in here, even with all of the scaffolding. And don't mind the little beeps. I've muted most of myself in Discord and what everybody else is doing, but I haven't muted myself completely, or I haven't actually left while I was recording this because I'd been hanging out with my friends while building. And let's just clean up some of the interior scaffolding blocks so that we can see more of Awesome Dragon Looks Awesome. On the inside, too. Nice gleaming copper. Or later, blue gradient copper. Nice shiny underbelly and properly weathered scales up top. Ta-da! It's not even done, and I'm too busy getting distracted by Dragon Look Pretty. Help! I can't. Statue too pretty. Viewers and gentle beings, may I present a dragon statue. Also, there's a bat flying on around because keeping things lit while I was working was not my first priority. Okay, and I'm aware that that tail ended up looking a little wonky. Let's just adjust a few things. I mean, the tail's probably still looking a little wonky, but it was always going to look a little wonky. And it is at least looking epic. No, bad creeper. Get off. Go away. Forbidden. That's it. And now, to apply my blocks of raw gold to give the distinct impression that this dragon is sitting on a hoard of gold, without having to spend all that many, or while spending the least number of actual blocks of gold. And I think also preserving some of the contours of this cave, though some of the other pieces ought to just get cropped back again. Give the dragon more room to breathe in here, honestly. Okay, so the dragon statue is not quite done because I took some shortcuts here that are coming back to bite me. I'm gonna leave that leg up against the wall. But that leg can be properly filled on in. And here you see the entirety of my gold stash over the course of a season, plus the contribution of 2 of my fellow Titan crafters, and it's still not enough gold for the dragon to sit on. However, I have enough of a diamond stash that by next episode I will probably be able to fix this. And ta-da! The dragon now has a proper spike ridge running down its back. And just slightly longer, pointier fangs. Doesn't it just loom so beautifully imposingly over my cave? And you have to get decently far back to be able to properly make eye contact with the dragon. But its diamond eye is watching me. One project done, 4 remaining.